Jay-Z is staying on the offensive, going after not only the attorney who filed the rape lawsuit against him and Diddy, that would be Tony Busby, the attorney, but also the accuser. And he has filed a new motion this morning, which we're going to get to in a moment, but basically he wants to level the playing field with the accuser. But first, we got to start with this response that Jay-Z had to the allegation. Catch you up real quick if you hadn't heard, but a woman who had filed a lawsuit against Diddy back in October, alleging that he had raped her at a VMA after party in the year 2000 when she was only 13 years old.
Right. Remember, this is when she allegedly was given a drink. She felt woozy, and there was Diddy, and there was a male celebrity who was unnamed at the time, and also a female celebrity.
Well, that unnamed celebrity is now named. She refiled the lawsuit on Sunday. She and her attorney, Tony Busby, refiled it and named Jay-Z as that unnamed celebrity involved in the rape. Jay-Z's response is extraordinary in that, look, we've seen all these lawsuits against Diddy, dozens of them now at this point, and frequently his response has been to deny it, but to say nothing else. Jay-Z went way more than just denying it. He did do that, but then went directly after the attorney. Part of his statement said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me want to expose you, Tony Busby, for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. You claim to be a Marine? Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. There were other shots at Tony Busby in his statement where he called him an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and if you've heard Tony Busby's name before, it's because he seems to always find his way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he seems to always find his way into the big case, Charles, right? I mean, if it's Travis Scott, if it's Deshaun Watson, the NFL quarterback, he's always involved.
So Jay-Z had that strong response.
Yeah.
Tony Busby isn't backing down, and in fact said that he denied that there was any extortion. He said, my client merely reached out and wanted to have a confidential mediation.
Right.
Now, I got to say, I don't know what that confidential mediation would be about other than money.
Right.
But his point is the letter itself did not make any request for money.
Right, though I'm sure that was coming.
Yeah, it sounds like Busby's response was a little bit disingenuous. The confidential mediation would be where they would broker a settlement and not have the issue go public in the way that he did. He also mentioned that Jay-Z has sued him, and that got us thinking. There was a lawsuit, an anonymous lawsuit filed against Busby alleging extortion.
Back in November, yeah.
That's right. And now Jay-Z, in his recent motion that you referenced earlier, has said, yeah, that was me. Because when you sent your demand letters to me, I then went forward, stood my ground with an extortion lawsuit against you. And now if you're going to continue this whole spectacle, I want the accuser's name out there as well. She shouldn't be able to sue me as a Jane Doe. He says, fair is fair. This is a response to, this is retaliation for me standing my ground when you tried to extort me. And now let's just get it all out there.
Right. So follow the beats here. First, Diddy is sued.
Right.
The unnamed celebrity. And at the time when we covered that, we thought the fact that they didn't name this person sounded like they were probably reaching out to that person to try and get a settlement. Jay-Z says that is exactly what happened. And when he turned him down, he thinks that the only reason they have now refiled this and put his name in there is retaliation for Jay-Z suing Tony Busby for extortion. So this is going around and around, but a very strong denial from Jay-Z.
It is, and it's look, we've seen, and not just in this Diddy situation, we've seen a lot of cases in the past where celebrities have been accused of wrongdoing. This hardly ever happens, Charles, where you see the person under fire, the celebrity, fire back and this intensely.
Right, back at the attorney and then filing this motion for the accuser.
Right. He is not taking this lying down, clearly.
And look, you're allowed to file documents anonymously, particularly where there's allegations that she was only 13 when this happened. So that's not uncommon to see. But Jay-Z now thinks this is an extortionate plot. And he says, in order to unearth all of this and unmask it all, we now need to know the identity of that person. And since it happened in 2000, she's obviously of age now. She's alleging that she was 13 in the year 2000. And he's saying we need to put all our cards on the table. I need to be able to identify my accuser and actually fight this lawsuit on its terms, on its face.
Yeah, I think it would be extraordinary, I think, Derek, if the judge did force the accuser to, because, and this is the really alarming part of this case, is that we're talking about a 13-year-old is the alleged victim, a woman who was at the time 13. And by the way, Tony Busby isn't backing down, said that his client remains steadfast in her resolve in this case, that she will not back down and that she is going to continue to seek justice. So it's going to be interesting to see what the judge says here, because we did see the judge demand that in one of the Diddy cases, the accuser be
Turns out
revealed.
it was actually Evander Kane, the NHL star's ex. I understand it, Charles, from the standpoint, it's like, how do you defend yourself? And this is not a criminal case, fine. But how do you defend yourself in a court if you don't know who's making the allegation against you?
That's the argument that Jay-Z's making.
Marta Shea from Montreal. I mean, guys, who is really surprised by this, right? I'm not. I don't believe anyone else is. Jay-Z and Diddy go way, way back, decades, right? They've been friends since, what, 1990? That's about 30 years of solid friendship. It was only a matter of time before Jay-Z was also accused of such crime. Now, whether it's a plot or not, whether it's true or not, we can all agree that this is the fastest we've seen Jay-Z respond to allegations or accusations. He did not take this lightly.
Yeah, and it's very clear he also saw it coming.
Yeah.
Right? Because he knew
prepared.
that he got that demand letter. He had sued Tony Busby. This was not something that suddenly
Right. He
popped
wasn't
up on
caught
Jay-Z's
flat-footed.
radar.
They were
Right.
ready.
Yeah.